This Road to Osaka series is powered by Mizuno. Hear from Reece Edwards, Rachel McGuinness and Julian Spence and other top Australian marathoners in their push to the Osaka Marathon on February 25. And three of those are here right now with Reece and Rachel. Welcome back, episode 3.
Hi, good to be back.
Yeah, cheers for having me again, mate.
Guys, fired up for this week?
Absolutely. Always fired up, mate. First day back at work, ready to rumble.
Oh, same with you, Rachel. First day back.
Yeah, first day back tomorrow. So, yeah. We're
going to chat about your work because I don't think we've actually gone into it too much because it's probably a little more interesting than Reece's work, I'd say anyway. We'll have to put it out to the punters, but I'm more interested in your work than his. But, however, we do have a guest with us tonight for the first time on this series. We're going to bring along another Australian who is running Osaka Marathon, and we're going to go to her early while we've got all the energy to pay her the respect she deserves. Here we have Tara Palm. Welcome.
Hi, guys. Thanks
Tara,
for having me.
Joining us from South Australia. Stalwart of the running community over there.
Thank you. Yeah, joining from Adelaide. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Getting ready for Osaka as well.
Yeah, like so many Australians are. It's amazing. Like over here, every second person seems to be training for Osaka. And is it like that in Adelaide? Are heaps of people going there?
Not heaps of people, but I feel like it might be. When I did Berlin last year, there were a lot of like Australians in Berlin, and I sort of went out for a jog the day before the race, and bumped into people who I knew from training in the Tier Garden in Berlin, and maybe it'll be a bit like that in Osaka. Will be just hearing Australian accents all over the place.
Yeah. From my perspective, I just hear a lot of people entered the lottery when it first came out, and everyone seemed to have gotten a spot, especially in Melbourne. Like a lot of Melbourne people seem to have entered. And then, did you go through the lottery, or are you an elite starter?
I got an elite start.
Kudos. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Reece, you're an elite starter?
I believe so. I actually haven't had anything confirmed yet.
Oh, really? Rachel, did you get an email? Oh, you got Mizuno hooked you up.
I think Mizuno said they'd organise it, but I haven't had anything since. But I was told that we get an elite start and drinks and everything.
Yeah, I just got an email saying, elite start is confirmed and there'll be 8 drinks and bring your own bottles, and that was if there'll be a meeting or something. That was about it. But I was relieved to get the email because I was like, okay, I'll book my flights now.
Yeah, a few people holding off on that. Did you get the email from Mari?
I think so. Can't remember off the top of my head, but that sounds right.
Mari, I think she used to organise the fields for Biwa, Reece, so you would have spoken to her in the past.
Yeah, lovely woman.
Yeah. So funny, you should probably chase that up because everyone that I know who applied for that, like sub-elite, has been emailed already. Yeah.
So imagine that. Imagine if we didn't even have starts. That'd be great.
Oh, wait. No, Mizuno's hooked you up too, right? So actually, you're obviously fine. Sorry, that's my bad. Tara, you are a pretty distinguished runner over there in Adelaide. I'm going to run through some stats about you, if you don't mind. You've represented Australia twice at World Cross Country.
Yes.
That's a big deal. And I think Australia only realised how big of a deal that is since we hosted it this year, and we got to look at it up front.
Yeah, it was a tough team to make this year in Bathurst. And that was a brilliant. I didn't get to go, unfortunately, but I watched the live stream and just looked like the weather and everything, so much action. It was great to watch.
Yeah. Is that something that you're going to chase again? Try to make a team?
I would have liked to, but the trials are 5 days after Osaka Marathon, so that's not a backup that I'm going to be attempting to do. So I probably won't. I probably won't go. It's not on my plan.
Yeah.
But if the trials were at a different day, if the trials were like 2 weeks before or 3 or 4 more weeks after, then I would probably go for it.
Yep. Have you heard of this theory called supercompensation? You might surprise yourself. I
tried. I did Berlin Marathon last year and I did Riga World Half Championships the week after, and there was no surprises. My legs felt like lead trying to race the week after a marathon. So
yeah, it's only a theory.
Some people, I did, because I mean, when I did Berlin, I knew I was going to do Riga the week after. I actually spoke to a few people who backed up. I said, what advice do you have for me for doing 2 big races a week in a row? And some people can pull it off really well, and I think I pulled it off half respectably. I did as well as I could, but it's tough.
Who did you go to? I'm interested.
Liam Adams races a lot. I asked him. I asked Lisa because she did the Osaka last year, and then she did Tokyo the week after, which she still ran, I think, 2:30 or something the week after, and she gave me a bit of advice on maybe getting in water and just moving your legs around in a pool kind of thing. And everyone seemed to say keep moving in the week in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. You know who does it well? That Japanese Yuki Kawauchi.
Yes, that's very true.
Maybe ask him.
You should have shot into his DMs, I reckon.
Didn't think of that one.
He's not races.
I was doing all these silly searches, how to speed recovery, and I know.
Take you to the peptide websites.
Yeah.
Probably didn't go down there.
No. Tara, you've been ranked in the top 100 for the year in 3 different events at a certain point. Did you know that?
I hadn't really thought about it, but I have. Yeah, I'm aware of my profile, so I guess maybe
that's a pretty big thing. Top 100 in the world in, I think it was the 10K on the track.
Probably, maybe the 5K is perhaps. I'm not sure.
I reckon it was 5K, maybe 10K on the road. So just as a heads up, this is anyone in the world, all the Kenyans, all the Ethiopians. Tara, obviously, and I'm no offense, Tara, but you probably ran early enough in the year.
Where you got absolutely.
Where you got a time in the top 100, and that's pretty impressive stuff.
Absolutely, certainly, but I'll take it if it's the first one in the year. Take it while you can, and often that is because we come into our with track, we come into our summer in January, and they're not necessarily racing track yet. So if you can have a good run at nationals and races leading up to nationals, you can
World Athletics saves
before you get knocked down. Yeah,
they save it and they highlight it, and it's a pretty cool thing to have on your profile.
Yeah,
but you are a really credentialed runner, actually, and perhaps the best race of yours, the marathon is up there. It might be the 10K, but I think the marathon 2:33 that you ran at Berlin last year, that's sensational, because outside of this current batch of Australian marathon, that gets you on a team nearly every year.
Yeah, thank you. Berlin really meant a lot to me. I've wanted to run that was my kind of that was my first competitive marathon. I did Adelaide Marathon twice before that, but sort of as a training effort. I really wanted to do a proper marathon much earlier, but I kept on getting injured, and then COVID happened and we couldn't get to the races. So I just was so happy before the race even started, just to be in Berlin and be healthy on the start line and have the opportunity to put a 2:33 on the board. And then I finished and kind of was I want to do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that day before, feeling those positive sort of vibes, that really helps during the race, doesn't it? To have that type of energy going into an event.
I think when the training's kind of gone well and you manage to so often I've been on start lines and I'm carrying niggles and things like that. And when you're on a start line and you're healthy, your training's gone well, and all the start lines you haven't made it to, you're still very nervous, but it's a good feeling, because it's just special to be there and special to be part of it.
Yeah, and that
what is
Berlin,
the hype? Yeah, I was about to say, what's the hype? Like Berlin, everyone says it's the best marathon in the world. Is it just like the energy around the streets the days before? Is it just like electric? Like how is the hype?
It felt electric. I guess I'm not a very experienced marathon runner, so like I've only Berlin and I've done the Adelaide Marathon here twice, but the atmosphere, I felt like it was electric, and I know a lot of people from the club that I ran for were there running as well. And I was really fortunate. I did Berlin half earlier in April, and through doing the Berlin half, they offered me a elite start, which not having a marathon time on the board, that was like a bit of a sort of little bit, maybe a little bit of a favour them giving me an elite start. So I just felt like being able to start on the front line, knowing there's all those, I don't know how many, we'll say 30,000, I don't know the numbers, but just thousands and thousands of people, lining the street behind you. That just felt pretty electric to me. And the crowds are pretty deep the whole way.
And I remember thinking at about the 10-mile mark or so, you go over a little bridge, and that's the hill for the whole race.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fathom how flat the road was, and how crazy it is.
Yeah, it was where I was around that 2:30 mark. It was so thick the whole way. I kind of I felt relieved when I got little patches of the road to myself, because I was like, I can just focus on staying on that, like the blue line they paint on the road. Like it was just really thick with sort of, like good like male runners around me, which was great.
Yeah, so good. So now Osaka is coming up, and you're on Strava, so we get to see you, see all your training, and you've ripped a big workout over the weekend. Was it Saturday?
Yeah, last Friday. I don't put all my runs on Strava. I have it set to private, and I don't quite release all of them. But
should we rip in this?
You can rip it if you want. I don't really mind, I think.
So what's your reason? What runs are you hiding?
I'm hiding the ones I do from home, because I have like a little privacy zone around my home, so you can really see the map anyway. But there's not always even. Sometimes I hide my track ones because my GPS goes stupid on the track, and it'll say like a 250, which I'm clearly like not running. But like I don't want people to think, but I am, running times that I'm not running. I look at my watch when I'm on the track, not my GPS. And sometimes there's no reason. It's just I feel like it or I don't feel like it. Like
yeah.
Just
tell us about this workout though.
Anyway,
the workout.
Okay. Okay. So it was a good workout. I kind of have probably only really been in my what I'd call marathon training for 4 weeks now. December was a little bit lighter. And Friday was the sort of workouts leading up to this one. It's probably been my first full marathon workout. So it was 30K total. Started with 5K steady. So it was meant to be at 4-minute to 4:05 pace, but it ended up all being a bit under 4-minute K pace. And then 5K at what is, I hope, a gold marathon pace. So that was 3:30 to 3:35. And I probably hit the lower range of that, repeated it 3 times. So 30K total at West Beach, which is, there's a lovely, I actually get 0 elevation on it. A lovely flat 5.1K loop.
Wow. So that's 5K float, 5K marathon pace.
Yes. Yeah.
How do the floats feel there? Because that's a long float, but
it's the first one felt like you just in your head you're like, I've got a big workout, better not go too fast. But then by the last float, I felt like I was holding. I guess after going faster, I felt like I was really holding back on the float. It felt all right. I just wanted to my last marathon workout I did like a 4x5K, and I thought I might do this one just adding in a bit more volume so you get that like fatigue in the legs before doing the efforts.
So are you coaching yourself?
Yeah, I do most of my coaching by myself. So I've had Lindsay Flanagan's been here since November, so I've been fortunate to join in with her on Tuesday track sessions. So I've kind of just jumped into her workouts, and but for the Friday one and the other days, I sort of coach myself. But I have like my partner who's a runner as well, PJ Bosch, and we sort of just talk about workouts a bit. And I'm fortunate that he really understands and supports like my running, and was there on the bike with me on Friday, which for those really big ones, just having someone on the bike helps a lot. And I set up a little drink table as well, and it was good. The lap was 5K, so I could only get the drinks every 5K, so that was good practice.
Yeah, that's helpful. So Lindsay Flanagan in town, she's a US athlete. She's training for the trials.
Yeah, she's a US athlete. So she came 9th at World Champs in Budapest. She was the first athlete home for USA. So yeah, she's a real professional runner. She won Gold Coast in 22. She's coached by Benita. So the trials are the first Saturday in February. So I guess they're they're 3 weeks before Osaka. Yeah, 2 weeks now. So she flies home. Well, she's not flying home actually. She's from Boulder, but she's flying to Orlando on Wednesday. And it's been really good for me having her here to train with. I feel it's kind of like, tennis partners, when they hit with someone better, they start hitting a little bit harder kind of thing. And for me, seeing how like professional she is and how hard she trains has probably helped me to lift some of my workouts a bit.
She full-time professional?
Like she's a full-time professional. Yeah. So she's got a ASICS contract, and she's a full professional runner. She does a bit of online coaching as well. Yeah.
Because they're expecting the US trials are meant to be hot, aren't they?
Yeah, so that's when I've been doing training with her on Tuesdays and doing like my midweek long run with her on Wednesdays as well. And everyone seems to ask her, why did you come to Adelaide? So
my next question,
which is not. You should have her on here to answer for you. But I'm biased. I love Adelaide, but it can be hot in Orlando. So and she's from Chicago, but she lives in Boulder. And Boulder the other day was minus 23 degrees. So like imagine trying to do a workout in that. Whereas Orlando can get quite hot, so it can fluctuate a bit in the temperature. And just like I've been checking the weather there for the upcoming 2 weeks, I feel like sort of excited for a trail race, and they can get up to 30 degrees there, and it's going to be close to 40 here in Adelaide tomorrow, which is too hot. But it's good heat conditioning for her here. And guess being coached by Benita was probably like main reason she chose to come to Australia. And Adelaide's got I think it's got good road and training venues. So yeah.
Well, has she not heard of Melbourne?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
You'll have to ask her. I think Adelaide's is a great spot. And
the weather's probably more. Yeah, the weather's probably more unpredictable here. We haven't really had much hot weather this week.
Yeah, we've had a fair bit, so I guess
that's
good. Both good choices.
What have you learned from her?
I think just not being afraid to push things out a little bit. So on like the track workouts, like usually my sort of Tuesday or track workout, the goal is to run faster than marathon pace. And I'd probably usually do something like 8 by K, but her workouts have been more like sort of like 10, 12, sometimes even 13K of like pretty high pace like work. So sometimes with like jog rather than standstill recovery, sometimes the whole volumes come out to like over 30 laps on the track, which is like just a lot more than I'd normally do or I'd like set myself. But and I haven't done all of her workouts because I've been sort of fast enough that I can kind of like do about 90% of them and just have like a lap off for a breather kind of thing. And then we'll go rep for rep kind of thing. And it's just sort of pushed me up a little bit. And like my Wednesday long run lead up to Berlin, I was doing about 90 minutes, but she usually does 2 hours on a Wednesday and then she'll do a double in the afternoon. So I was kind of like, well, if I know Lindsay's working that hard, like, what's an extra, just stretching out a little bit more to an extra hour 45 for me. So probably just, I've been around like other like elite runners before, but I think it's just that reminder to just, be a little bit. And she really does like respect her recovery. She, with her coaching, she'll take calls at certain times, she'll block out certain times, and she'll really like recover well from her workouts. So I guess it's just that, just do a little bit more, recover a little bit better, just be a little bit more. It's just been really positive. And she's just been pretty inspiring to be around.
Cool. Back to you, Osaka. What do you know about Osaka? Why'd you pick Osaka?
Yeah, so I finished Berlin, and then like the week after Berlin, I was like looking for like more marathons to do. So sort of went through I needed. I love having a goal locked in, and I felt a bit lost after Berlin. I was like, I want to lock in another goal. So I looked at Seville, and I thought like going to Europe is just it's expensive. Feel like you have to get there about a week before your race to, get over the jet lag kind of thing. And Japan, so I thought I'd love to race in Japan. It's on the same time zone. I haven't been to Japan. I first went to Japan in 2007, 2008 for Ekiden relays, which feels like another lifetime now. So I haven't been for a long time. So I thought it's the same time zone. I thought I'd like to, which will reduce travel and cost a little bit. Thought I'd like to run something fast, and I saw like Lisa Waitman ran really quick there last year, and I checked out the course. I thought it looks fairly flat, looks fast, doesn't look like there's too many hairpins in it, and I thought I'd rather run in a mixed race, because hopefully where I am there will be lots of men and other people to work with, because sometimes the women's races look like they can be a bit lonely on the road. So I guess all those things, and then just the process of actually getting a start can be really hard. So I was fortunate to get an elite start as well.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. That's interesting you say, because I was going to mention why not the Osaka women's only marathon, because traditionally that's got fast times, you got the competitiveness there. So it's interesting to say that you choose a mixed race to have kind of the men around you. So my thing with the men around that kind of time gaps, do you find them nice steady runners? Are they smooth runners, or are they quite surgy? Like, do you get a nice pack?
It really I mean, in Berlin I felt like I didn't really get a pack, because it was like if I sped up a tiny bit, I'd go past like 10 people, and if I slowed a tiny bit, 10 people would go past me. I didn't. But I know another year, like years ago when I did Melbourne Half Marathon, I had a great pack. So it just depends on the day and the race, and the people. It's hard. There's no guarantee that there will be like a pack to sort of, like almost act like a pacer for you. But I guess even if there isn't a pack, there's always like someone who's, say 10 meters up the road, or you slow, like, someone's going to go past you and you can try and tuck in on them kind of thing, depending on what pace they're going. So I guess even if there's not a pack, there'll always be that sort of, that to-fro kind of thing that you get in a race.
How do you feel in men's races, Rachel? Do you feel like you're like it's a little awkward with people running too fast and too slow and surgy, or do you prefer to be with women?
I was going to say at Valencia, I found I was getting like battered around like a few elbows and things, because I think like they're sort of like around the time that I was running, like mid 2:30s. The women are like, we're all in the elite start, but then it's the men that like push through the wave after that to catch up to us. So they're kind of coming up to catch up to us. And I sometimes feel like maybe the guys, because obviously they're non-elite with those times, latch onto the elite women runners, and then we kind of get bustled around a bit. But that was only my experience at Valencia. I didn't have that at the Gold Coast. It was too thin on the ground when I ran there, the same year that Lindsay won actually. And at Melbourne, too thin on the ground. So Valencia's the only real one that I've done with, where I felt like, I'm getting knocked about a bit here.
Because it really scares me is always the start of the races. I feel so nervous, because if I Berlin, I was on, I think I was third. Like there are only two people in front of me, say on the start line. So I'm aware that there's I tried to work out the number, but several thousand men who are like a lot faster than me starting behind me. And I know when that's poorly organized, like there was a 10K in Valencia and all these people went down the start. The people who went down the start were mainly the women who were starting in front of club level, like men who are a bit slower than them. And some of them got badly injured because they just got run over. And that's always a bit of a fear.
I think I remember that happening actually.
Yeah, I think a few people dislocated shoulders and stuff. Yeah, it's always a bit scary being, especially like a short, because I'm only 5'4", so being a shorter woman at like the front of a pack like that, like you feel like
I'm
you're
even shorter.
Are you?
I remember Collis Birmingham going down at the World Half at Valencia, and even like he's a big guy. He'd be like 6'2", I reckon. And he went down at the front and got clambered over and got spat out the back. And like, that's a big solid guy.
I think I have like a Simba in the Lion King kind of dream, like when the buffaloes are running through the stampede.
So you've given away the time you want to run, 3:30s, 3:30.
And 2:27:30.
That's it.
The range, so 3:30 to 3:35.
I heard 2:27:30.
It is wide, but you're not going to like hit every K like to the second. So I like a bit of a range. It depends on the day and how you're feeling. And
yeah, well, that puts you. I mean, if you can pull that off, then we're starting to get into some team sort of territory talk over the next few years. That'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be a big goal. I mean, ultimately, my main goal for Osaka is really to run a PB, to just run faster than I did in Berlin. But I'd love to have a crack at breaking like 2:30. That would be a huge goal, and really mainly more than anything, a personal achievement.
Yeah,
2:30
I feel like that's a barrier.
Massive barrier. 2:30 is for women is like 2:10 for men, I reckon.
Even for men, I've got some friends who they're like, "Oh, I've broken 2:30 now. I'm done with the marathon."
Clocked it.
Yeah, clocked it. Yeah, done.
Can't get better.
Yeah.
When do you fly over? Which day?
Wednesday. So Adelaide to Cairns, and then Cairns up to Osaka.
Oh yeah, I think there'll be a few on that sort of probably a few on that flight, to be honest, on the Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. There will be. Yeah.
And then, is that a Jetstar flight, is it? If it's going via Cairns?
Jetstar, yeah. So there's a Adelaide to Cairns, and so we can get it all done in one day, which should work well. Fingers crossed.
Then you'll be there for the after party?
Yeah, I booked a flight home only recently once I got a confirmation. So I'm going to stay on till Friday after the race and might go to Kyoto and do some holidaying.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah, you ever had sake before?
Sake, not for a long time, but yeah.
You like sake, Reece?
I don't mind sake.
Rachel?
Yeah, I like sake.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
You don't like it, mate?
Nah, it tastes like petrol.
It doesn't taste like... I hope you get denied at border security now when you try to enter Japan.
No. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Japanese whiskey.
Oh, are you?
Big yeah.
They like strong drinks over there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. They like drinking full stop. All right, Tara, well, we will see you in Osaka. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you put your training runs on Strava because we want to see it.
Yeah, I'll try to put the big ones on there.
Yeah, scare everyone.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
The way to do it.
Yeah,
all right.
I do like it. I do like it when everyone else shares their workouts, but I sort of appreciate that not everyone does.
You like to sit in the stands and watch.
Yeah, and I share half my stuff, so I'm not the worst. Like some people.
So are you like Rachel? Are you like Rachel? Is yours getting automatically uploaded and then you're reloading it?
I have my settings set to private, so when it comes up, like I can see everything that I've done. But then if I want other people to see it, then I have to go into the edit and then set it to like share. You share this with like private or just your followers or public, and I usually just set it to change it to my followers. So I have it on private, so I don't have to like race on there. It's like only I can see it, and then maybe a few hours after a session, I'll go in and make it available. Edit it or just make it so people can see it.
It's a whole nother culture of Strava use out there. I've never even considered.
Private.
Thank you again for coming on. All the best with the training.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, and all the best for you guys with your training and preparations as well. See you there.
Thanks, Tara.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. I reckon she's in for a big one.
Yeah.
That's a good session that she did.
Yeah. Have you ever done a session there where it's really long, steady kind of floats like that?
Nah.
They're harder than what they sound, hey?
Yeah, because you might do a short float, but like the longest I would float is 2K.
Yeah, so I'd be similar. And I just did one with Steve Deneen before he did Berlin. I helped him out through a session. And I think he did something like 5K float, 5K hard, 4K float, 4K hard, something like that. And I remember thinking, what's all this long float kind of fluff? But it actually comes back to get you right at the end of the session. And apparently Liam's a big believer in it.
30K worth will get you no matter.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing, like that's still 15K of marathon pace. I mean, 15K on your own is solid. 15K straight marathon pace. So add in 15K of floats. That's a solid one. How about we do some weeks? Why don't we kick off, Reece? Let's do your week first. So
righto.
Let me pull up your week because I'm going to have a look at it too.
I'll just pull up my own week as well. You pick it apart, mate. There's nothing to be picked apart this week. It's rock solid.
This week's more traditional, is it?
Yeah. I would say yes. I would say it is. There was potential for it to go a bit haywire, but no, it stayed traditional.
All right, I got your first workout up.
Okay, so Monday I did 10K easy jog in the morning and then a 14K easy jog in the afternoon. And then Tuesday I did a workout. I did 3 by 10 minutes with a 2 minutes jog. And I ran, I think the first 10 was in 3:10 pace and the next 2 were in 3:09 pace. So it's hard to know. That kind of felt like ideally I'd like that to be around marathon pace, but it did feel quite quick just for marathon pace. I did that solo just along a footpath.
On a footpath?
Yeah, just on a footpath. No, just on a footpath there. You know the footpath next to Burnley Boulevard?
Is that next to where you run the half marathon?
Yeah, so whenever I do workouts along there, I don't run on the road. I just run on the footpath.
How come?
People walking their dogs and stuff?
Yeah. So there's people walking their dogs and walking to abreast and things like that. So yeah, it's probably a good workout at the end of the day to run those paces through there.
That would annoy me.
Yeah, but I'm pretty chilled. I just don't let people get inside my head.
People you're chilled.
So yeah, I was pretty happy with that, running those paces, and hopefully that's around marathon pace. That afternoon, I ran 9Ks very easy. On Wednesday, had a bit of a recovery day, so 11 kilometers easy in the morning, 15 kilometers in the afternoon. Thursday morning, I kind of have my little traditional workout, which people probably gathered by now, where I did a 20-minute tempo, which was at 3:19 pace. Then I did 2-minute jog recovery into 3 by 4 minutes. And the goal of this is to run like the tempo above marathon pace, and then the shorter efforts have to be well and truly below marathon pace. So the 4-minute efforts were around 2:59 pace per kilometer.
So that's pretty slow for a 20-minute tempo. For like slower than marathon pace. Wouldn't you consider that that's like a float?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that slow. Like, to be honest, I was averaging 3:21. I was like, I better put a bit of effort in here to get it below 3:20s. It doesn't feel that slow. Like, it feels like I'm working how I want to be working. Because I don't want to kill myself on a Thursday session. Yeah.
So you just run to feel, and the feel should be easier than marathon effort.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it's kind of a pace that if I wanted to run anywhere from an hour to 90 minutes at that time, that day, I could hold that pace for about that.
Yeah, okay.
And it ends up being, whenever I do these sort of sessions, that pace ends up kind of being my default. If I ever blow up in a marathon, it kind of ends up being my default blow up pace. I'm doing a bit of. I'm training my blow up pace.
That's a good idea. Condition
it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't reckon.
Damage control, like an insurance policy.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's why it allows me to be confident when I go out too hard and know, I've got a blow up pace. It's fine. And then that afternoon, I did 15 kilometers in the afternoon. In my afternoon jogs when I'm in Melbourne, I kind of meet up with a few guys, so they kind of tend to be a bit longer than an average recovery run.
Hold up, Rach. Are you on his Strava right now?
Yeah. Are we talking about this photo?
How about the cute pic?
Which one?
In your iced coffee.
Yeah, I reckon that's a mango smoothie, maybe.
When you're in Melbourne, nah, I got a lot of comments about is that a mango smoothie, but it is an iced latte. Yeah. And I got a real sad thing to say here, but I got a little addiction to the iced lattes from McDonald's, the vanilla flavored ones.
So you just took a photo. Did you just give your phone to like your wife or a training partner and said, "Take a pic of me looking real good, just strolling down the street here"?
Yeah. So what happened was I was leaving McDonald's and I saw myself in the reflection. I was like, you know what? I haven't looked that good in years. So I handed my phone to my wife and I said, I'll walk right down the middle of this path. We'll get everything symmetrical, and you get this photo, and I'll put it up, and that'll be the Melburnian of me coming out.
Do you know? I reckon I know why you haven't looked that good in years. It's because you're wearing a hat.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad. I know. It's going fast. Everyone keeps telling me I should try some pills.
Isn't there like some sort of cream you can rub there, like
some cream? What? Rub on hair cream? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm receding better than my old man. My old man, he was bald by I think 22 or something like that.
Oh,
he had an afro at his wedding. Afro at his wedding when he was 19, and then bald by 22. It's quite hilarious.
That's marriage, though. That's just marriage. That's not genetic.
Yeah. You're right, but I'm showing a bit too much forehead at the moment.
Keep the hat on. You look good. You look about 10 years younger in the hat.
Yeah, I've become a hat person and a beanie person in winter, unfortunately. I'm not ashamed of my hairline, mate.
No, well, you're married, you got a kid. Game's over anyway for you. You might as well just move into dad life.
My kid, mate, came out with more hair on his head than what I've got. Sad thing to say. I might see if I can get a transplant, shave his off and put it on my own. That afternoon after that session, I did 15K. And then the Friday, I had done a lot of mileage up to that point. So Friday, I decided to do just 10Ks in the morning, and then I went to a brewery and had like a chicken burger and a beer for lunch, and decided I didn't really need to go out and run on Friday afternoon because I knew I had a pretty big weekend coming. So then Saturday morning, this was I reunited with the Mango boys down in Albert Park, nice and early in the morning. And we did 20 kilometers steady run into a bit of a fartlek. So we averaged 3:53s for the steady run. I actually did that in a new shoe that I'd never used before, and that's the Mizuno Rebellion Flash 2. Not bad. It was soft. Like, it's quite a soft shoe and just popping along. So that 3:53 average, actually, that felt really nice to me.
It's actually so I was the perfect shoe for that, for what you just did.
Yeah, because I don't know if it is an easy jogging shoe. As soon as I picked it up and put my foot in, I was like, this is kind of like a fast or steady kind of long run shoe, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a kind of tempo shoe, isn't it? They're kind of, bridge between the two. Have
you run on the treadie or anything in it, Rach?
No, I haven't got a pair yet. I've been meaning to order a pair. So,
yeah. I've done a run in it. It's I don't think it was great for my shin when I had it because it's a little unstable. You know, it's got the two columns and it's real banana-y. But geez, it felt like it would be easy to get going if you just wanted that up-tempo day.
Yeah, it has that like race shoe, like unstable kind of sensation, which is why I don't know if I'd do easy jogging in it. But yeah, for that run, I thought it was like perfect shoe selection. So I was happy with that.
So tell me, you changed shoes?
Yeah, so then I changed shoes before I then did the fartlek. So the fartlek was 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes off 90 seconds easy jog. So I'd change shoes and I'd put on the Wave Rebellion Pro 2s for that. And the other thing I did before that session was there's like a pretty big hype at the moment around this precision fuel hydration. Everyone seems to be using it. So I decided to trial this hype train, and I had one of their caffeine gels before the fartlek. So I mean, the packaging, it's probably the easiest packaging to open up. Out of any gel.
I love ripping it and the tab staying on.
The tab stays on, and it's like easy to rip, and gel doesn't come out either. It's not like when you rip it and you're like, I don't want to lose too much gel, or sit there,
it goes all over your fingers and down your chin.
Yeah. So that surprised me.
So you had one gel for the whole.
Oh, I had another. So I had a non-caffeine gel of theirs, the precision one, so a non-caffeine one during the 20 kilometers steady, just at the 10K halfway mark, because we just kind of did an out and back along the bay. So one gel at halfway, 10K there, and then just one caffeine gel before the fartlek.
Yeah. And then anything during the fartlek?
No. So we have Al who's on the bike, and he forces me to put at least water down just to at least practice having some sort of fluid going into my body. But I didn't have any energy drinks going in or anything like that, or no gels during the fartlek.
Will you put drinks out on the course?
No, so we have Al on a bike with us. So we have
for the marathon. Will you use the personalized drinks?
So I'll put drinks out on the course, but then I also will carry gels, and I kind of just decide on the go what I'm going to do. So if I get to an aid session, like I feel like liquid, then I'll have liquid. But then I don't know how other people feel. Like, say, Melbourne Marathon, I used the first 5K, 10K, I had liquid, and I got up to 15K, and I felt a bit bloated. So I did gel at the 15, then went back onto liquid at 20, and I just do what I feel.
So what liquid are you taking? Oh, sorry.
Traditionally before this, I've just used Morton. It's kind of, I don't love it, don't hate it. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. I think I prefer gels.
You don't need to practice taking the gels and the drinks when you're running at pace, though.
So my most special skill that I have in running is I don't have stomach issues.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I've never had an issue. Like, I can go eat like a pork roast and have 2 pints and run home from work.
That's your training for it, then.
Yeah,
that is hard work.
So I've done that a fair few times, and I felt a little bit off, but I'm very lucky in that. So I don't think I really am the normal person when it comes to that sort of thing.
You have ripped some fast reps here, because I'm looking at the split: 3-3, 3-2, 3-3, 259, 259, 253.
Yeah. So we got going. So last week you asked me, like, how's my fitness and things. I was like, I'll wait till I get back in Melbourne and we'll find out. So this is a session with Dave Ridley and Ben Kelly, and we kind of had the idea of those first 3. We'll make sure we're all together and running around that kind of 3:03 pace was the goal for the first 5, 6, and 7. And then if you're feeling pretty good, you can kind of say to Al, who's on the bike, hey mate, do you mind just revving it up a little bit? So then that's why I was feeling really good after those first 3 reps. I was like, mate, can you just get it moving a little bit? And then I think he was just testing me on that last one. He just kept going and seeing what he can get out of me.
Wow. And so did the others go with you, or were you solo through those fast ones?
So it was the second 7-minuter that we averaged 2:59s. Everyone stayed together through that one, but then that one kind of cooked the other boys. So then the 6 and the 5, I was just a little bit in front, not much.
Yeah, that's impressive session. You're running very fast at the end of like 40K, or not 40K, but when were you running fast? How much did you cool down?
I think there's probably 4K. 5K cool down, 4 or 5K cool down. Yeah. That's the best session I've done for a long time.
Very good.
The scary part was doing like the first 5, 6, 7 at 3:03 to 3:02 pace, and I was like chatting, and I've never felt that good at that pace.
Jeez, those Morton gels. I mean, precision.
But then with that gel, so I don't know if there is some black magic with it. I'm not actually trying to sell this gel because there actually is a downside to this gel. And I'm going to tell everyone the downside is at 1 a.m. that night, I was still staring at my ceiling.
There is no way. It's 100 milligrams of caffeine.
I couldn't get to sleep, man.
You were so up and about after how fast you ran. You were just thinking about yourself.
Yeah, you're probably right. It could have been, yeah. Although the ice latte was the day before, wasn't it? I don't think I did anything rogue that day after that.
How many Ks for the week?
Because the rest of the week was, I did like a 6K easy jog Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday, and then Sunday I did 10 easy in the morning, 10 easy in the afternoon. I did 186 kilometers for the week.
Makes me jealous hearing this. What about you, Rach?
Yeah. Much more than I've ever run in a week.
Yeah. Let's sub him out for someone else.
Yeah.
I reckon I could have peaked too early, but I tend to do this. I peaked too early.
But it's good because you got that marathon a week before, so.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
You're going to run 2:09 at Port Fairy. It doesn't matter. It's an AIM certified course.
Yeah, you're right. I might go for it.
Yeah.
You know when
see ya. All right, he's disappeared. Good from you, Reece. 186, not bad at all, and a good workout. So while he's not here, you get a chance to tell me what you think he's going to run.
Oh, well, I think that does entirely depend what happens at Port Fairy, because he said he's going to go around at a decent click. I can't see him going like any slower than, I don't know. What do you think?
He's pretty dumb. I'm sure he'll run pretty fast down.
Yeah, and I think it will entirely depend on how that goes. But if he wasn't doing that, I think he'll safely go under and in 2:12 or quicker.
2:12 or quicker. Oh, there you go, Reece.
It's hard to run that. I've tried a lot of times. I think Port Fairy, the advantage of Port Fairy is it might stop me from going out too hard in Osaka, because I think Osaka will be very, very easy to go out way too hard.
It's got that Japanese element to it.
Yeah, and just my personality and that Japanese element, like, ends up in a bad result.
Kamikaze style.
Yeah, so...
Well, we'll good. See. I'm interested. Next, we're going to do a run together in 2 weeks, actually. I'm not going to run with you at all.
No, you will definitely. Do you have any session ideas or plans for this? Because everyone's been hyped. I hear it's the open training day with the Mango boys, and I just want to hear what the workout is, mate.
Well, I've got my workout that I'm not real flexible on moving for everybody else. If you come along and go, oh, we're going to do this crazy thing, I'm not going to do a crazy thing with you. I'm not going to do it with you anyway. There's no point. You're going to run 10 to 15 seconds a K quicker. I just looked at that workout then and thought, we're not going to spend much.
No, that workout's an anomaly. I don't know where that came from. I've not been training like that. It was like, that was an anomaly.
We'll see. We got 2 weeks, but we're going to be there on Sunday morning. The date's the 4th of Feb. Precision, we're going to be there in some capacity. So, and then Mizuno are going to bring down the Mizuno Rebellion Pro and Flash wear test kits, so people can chuck those on their feet. There's going to be a post. The main show is going to do a bit about it, so you're not going to miss details anywhere. They are like in a message group I got here. Let me just have a quick squeeze for it so we don't mess it up too much. Here we go. Set the start time to simulate the racing conditions. 6:30, you can put your bottles in. Around about, this is a tentative schedule, around about 6:45 warm-up, 7:15 start time, autographs with Brady at 9:15.
Oh, shit. Jeez. I better bring down some merch for him to sign. Do you reckon he'll sign a Geelong singlet?
219 guy trying to get autographs when there's a 213 man there.
It's not all about times, Nate.
It is. That's all I care about.
When you're the mayor of Moama. Is it Moama? Is that how you say it?
Oh, who knows? It's a Chuka mainly.
You Chuka, is it? Oh, there you go. When you're the mayor of the Brown River, mate.
Rachel, now I've got some footage in front of me from your Strava. Actually, you've done well to post this. Let's go through your week of running and an injury update, if we may.
Yeah. So injuries, it's got better, but it's just kind of stagnated now. So have decided, because it's just not getting better, I'm going to stop running now. That's after like another week of doing a bit more offloaded running and a ground run. So yeah, it's not looking good, but just the nature of what it is.
So talk us through it a little bit. The injury hasn't resolved, which means you're still running with awareness/pain.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's improved, say it's dropped from like a 5 to a 2 or something like that.
Yeah, probably even less, to be honest. Yeah, like when I first got the scan, I'd say 5 to now like a 1 to at worst 2.
And just because the resolution hasn't been like back to full health, no awareness, it's been decided to take proper full time off running.
Yeah. Because like it got to the point where I've done now a couple of weeks of offloaded running, and maybe like sometimes towards the end the pain goes, but for the most part of it I'm in like a bit of aching pain. And the few ground runs that I've done, I'm so cautious of like assessing the pain that I can feel my body tensing up and anticipating it, and I feel like my gait's maybe changing a bit. And I had a lot of stop-start with the run walking with my sacral stressy before, and I just want to like give this the best chance to heal. Like I'm not really enjoying the offloaded running with it like aching, and my heart rate isn't really getting up high anyway, so I'm not getting a training benefit from it. So just gonna like give it another bit of a rest now and just cross train for the next couple of weeks, and see what happens after that. Best case scenario is that like a couple of weeks and it resolves, and if it doesn't, then stopping was the best thing to do, because if it hasn't resolved with full rest, then it wasn't ever going to resolve with continuing offloaded running.
Yeah, so it's a tough one for you.
Yeah,
sort of real shame now that you did get over that massive injury and something else has popped up, even though it's not as serious, but it's still cutting into your running.
I don't know, like it's just it kind of it feels unlucky, but obviously they're related. Like obviously having that time off means that like I just wasn't perhaps ready for as much load as I put in when I returned from injury. So just got to be a bit more cautious and probably just introduce a bit, because I'd gradually phased out the cross training before when my mileage was creeping up, but it's probably something I'll need to keep in the future. I think a lot of this stuff, like once you start to go through like injuries and things, is just trying to like test a bit what can your body tolerate. Like I have some friends that have said like a few years ago they would have done double runs and higher mileage, and after a string of injuries, like they've said they just wouldn't now do that anymore. And it's just trying to find out where's the balance of what you can do with your body after you've had a couple of setbacks.
Yeah, I remember there was like a sheet getting around. It was like a return to run. I think it was I think it might have been an MTC sort of return to run template, and I think it was 0 to maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and you were back at near on proper mileage, and it seemed really aggressive, and a lot of people had a crack at it. And I'm not sure. I don't have a copy of it or anything, but it seemed pretty like aggressive at the time. And then and some people pulled it off.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think your history of running contributes a big big time to that. Like if you can easily tolerate 140 160 Ks a week plus intensity, and then when you got injured you were doing 180 190, it probably doesn't take much once your body's healed to jump back up to say 140 150 160 mileage again.
And like
compared to someone
my mileage history, like the first time I ever ran over 100k was like October 2021, so like really not that long ago. So having had a period of a few months without running and not having had those like years and years of mileage in the legs means that I just have to be a bit more probably slow building back into it. So
because that's something a lot of people forget about, is like chronic load, so like a lot of time on your legs actually builds resilience. but you just got to find where is your chronic load, like where's your optimal chronic load, and it is very different for every single human being, which is what makes, I guess, running training and this sort of thing interesting in a way.
So
is there anything that you can do in the downtime now to get you back quicker, or is it simply a matter of just being patient?
I think it's more just being patient. Like, I don't know, my physio and sports doctor both said, you can go hard with like massage and stuff. So I got like a couple of massages the week before last, but I've now paid a small fortune for some orthotics. So hopefully they will make a bit of difference. And like my podiatrist said to like, because obviously I'm on my feet quite a lot for work. So he said, wear them like all the time, because all the pronating that I'm doing, even when I'm not running, is contributing to the load on my tibia as well. So it's just doing small change like that. Like I'm still like continuing to eat probably almost as many calories as I was when I was running like 120k, because when your body's trying to heal, you need that energy too. And obviously I'm still cross training as well, so just trying to tick off all those boxes.
Have you considered like gait retraining?
Yeah, so I actually for my partner, I for his Christmas present, I bought him like a voucher to see The Balanced Runner. I don't know, like a lot of people have seen this guy, and like some people like really sing his praises and say like, I've had this hamstring problem for like all my life, and then I saw him and now it's gone. So I don't know, I was thinking about maybe going along as well once I'm back to jogging. The most I've ever had done is just someone like film me when I'm on a treadmill. Apart from like that slightly pronating in my feet, which I think most runners do anyway, I'm a midfoot striker and I probably have quite a wide arm carriage. Other than that, I don't do anything really untoward. I don't know. I never really watched myself run though, so maybe I'm saying that and I look a bit.
I'm not sure you think you're a midfoot striker. I'd have to look at some footage. I can't, like, I'm trying to picture when I've seen you running, but geez, I'd have to have another look at it. Because I remember thinking that, like, when the Rebellion Pro 2 came out, I thought, okay, this shoe might not suit someone with a strong rear foot strike. And then I thought, someone like Rachel. Now, don't be offended. There's nothing wrong with rear foot striking. 80% of the world does it. But I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, that's the kind of gait that might not gel well with that shoe.
No.
I reckon it's worth having a look at. I reckon I might be totally off the mark here, but it'd be interesting to see. And also being like running for 10 minutes, very different from being at the hour mark of a run as well. Yeah, that's a lot of people midfoot strike for 5 minutes and then all of a sudden it's very different towards the end.
So when you do a gait analysis, is there anyone out there, is this balanced runner, are they doing gait analysis under fatigue and also fresh, or is it just kind of like some strides? Like I
don't know. I don't actually know a great deal about how the assessment works.
Because a lot of injuries come when you're under fatigue, right? Because it's when you're under fatigue, that's when your body's under a lot more stress and there's different abnormalities and things like that. So surely it's got to be done under fatigue.
I don't think that's a practical way to do it for most people, for most practitioners. Like, say you go to a physio for some gait retraining, you're not going to have someone run 90 minutes and then come in. Well, maybe you could, but I know Paul. Like, I've been to Paul quite a lot, and it's definitely not under fatigue. He looks at like you basically don't run at all. You just go and look at your movement patterns, like across short periods. You don't warm up or anything. And then, but it's an interesting question that, because I was talking to Jordan Donnelly, he works for On, and he does a lot of the footwear testing over the course of a 30K run rather than just like intervals when everyone's fresh. So they want to look at like the data that they're getting from the shoes at the 30K mark, 35K mark of a marathon. And I'd say it sort of should apply as well to an athlete's gait too.
Yeah, I like that, because sometimes, in a long run or even in a race, you get to 30K and you think, geez, this shoe just feels like it's stiffened up, or I've lost the pop, or geez, it's just feeling horrible all of a sudden. So I do like that concept. Yeah, it gets sloppy. Yeah, that's a good concept.
This lever, sorry, Rachel, we kind of skipped ahead from your week at Falls. How was the week at Falls? Did you love it?
It was good, but now having been there for a week, I wouldn't, if I was injured again, I wouldn't go. Like I was injured and we couldn't refund the accommodation anyway. So I was just like, I'll still go. But if that happened again and we had it booked, then I probably would be like, do you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. Because it was a bit boring just going and seeing the same four walls of like the tiny gym every day while everyone else was running. But
did you have a crack at that KOM?
No. So first of all, I agreed to it before I knew what the distance was. And then Jules said it was like 29K. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I thought about doing it on the Wednesday and I woke up and you couldn't even see a meter in front of you. And like I easily would have cycled off the mountain. So I just didn't know what to do it.
I'm pretty sure the person that had the KOM, now that you mentioned her name last week, Moose, I'm pretty sure she won the Tour Down Under.
She did. Yeah. No, she won the stage, or she won the climb that day. And I'm like, where do I know this name from?
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
And then I thought, what did we say, top 20? And I was like, I don't think so.
I looked through the list and like, there was no way I could have cycled at the pace that those people were cycling.
There's professionals on that climb, like all professionals, probably for the top 100. Oh well, we'll get you there maybe next year.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to know more about your job, because that's something that we haven't touched on, and I reckon there's some good stories about this. So you're a doctor. We've said you're a doctor, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are doctors out there.
You could have been a doctor who just studies rocks or something. We don't actually know. Are you a real doctor? Are you a real doctor?
Yeah, I've got a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery. So yeah, a medical doctor, but not a PhD.
Yeah.
Did you do that in England?
Yeah, so I did medicine at Nottingham University. I did graduate medicine. So I did an undergraduate. I actually went to Loughborough, which is like a big sports uni, but I wasn't really in sports so much then. So I did psychology at Loughborough, and then I worked for a couple of years as like a nursing assistant because I thought about studying graduate medicine. So I was studying for the exams, and I did 1 year working in a renal dialysis clinic, and then 1 year I worked at a sexual health clinic, and then I got onto the course at Nottingham, and I did, it's a 4-year course because it's slightly quicker because it's postgrad.
Wow. So how long have you been at uni for total?
I did 3 years undergrad and 4 years postgrad medicine, so 7 years.
7, Jesus.
What's the undergrad, just 6 years?
Undergrad is 5 years, but if you want to, you can do an intercalation. So you can do an extra year to get a Bachelor of Science or whatever, and that would be 6 years. So I already had the bachelor's and then did 4 years. So it's only a year longer if you do it the way that I did it versus doing an intercalated undergrad.
Yeah, nice.
So what sort of doctor are you now? Like, where do you work? You work at the hospital?
Emergency. Yeah.
Emergency. Okay.
Yeah.
You're an ED doctor.
Yeah.
So do you work at ED out in Ballarat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, that's sick. ED would be mad. What's something? Yeah, give us some load. Obviously, patient confidentiality here, but like,
you don't need to name names, but let's hear some good stories.
You got skulls being cracked and bones opening through skin.
Oh yeah. You get you get like multi-traumas, and because there's a couple of, like, Ballarat has 3 resus bays, which is where the sickest patients go. So you get obviously like multi-traumas from around the region here. But yeah, like, I guess the kind of standard things that you'd normally see in ED can be anything from someone not being able to get into their GP and they've got a rash and they just want some treatment for it, or it can be like a car crash or people with stuff up their butts. Like,
I was going to ask about that. That was the one that I wanted to know about.
So my older brother's a urologist, so that's so he's a penis and bladder surgeon. And he used to do on-calls and get called in when people had put stuff up their urethra. So that's the pipe that drains through the penis.
Damn.
And he used to keep them in sterile pots on a shelf in his office, all the things free. And he called it the Museum of Foreign Objects.
Oh, no. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is wild. Oh, doctors, you get all the good stuff.
Sickos.
It would be pretty draining, though. Surely.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it can be pretty it's more when, I mean, it's always busy. So it's more when the patients they can be quite shitty to you sometimes. They get annoyed, fed up with the wait times, and then they reflect that back on you and the nursing staff as well. So yeah, and some patients can be real assholes. We had a guy here who was medically cleared to leave, but he didn't want to, so he shat the bed. Because he was like, "You can't make me leave if," and I can he literally covered the bed in shit.
That's not going to help.
Yeah,
lucky you get paid a fortune.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So what makes you work out at Ballarat, not just in one of the Melbourne-based hospital? Because that travel that you're doing, surely that's tiring as well.
Yeah, so I'm doing what's called locuming at the moment. So I was working in a full-time job in ED in Melbourne. I worked at the Austin in Heidelberg, and then I worked there for 2 years after I moved to Australia, and then I switched to doing locuming, which is where I pick up flexible shifts. So any areas in the country that need extra staff, I go in and cover those shifts. It basically means I can pick and choose what shifts I do, and the pay is slightly better than if you work in full-time ED department. So I changed to doing that. It was just before I started training for Melbourne, because I wanted a bit more flexibility to do training, and now it just works better with normally when I'm in a full training load, I can manage my shifts around either races or traveling for races, and also around if I have a big session, I can choose not to work that day. So yeah, I do I probably average because they're 10-hour shifts, 3 shifts a week in ED, so that's 30 hours, and then I also work part-time for a football team, soccer team, which is, well, it's supposed to only be about half a day a week, but it ends up being a bit more. I probably do about 8 or 9 hours for them a week.
Do you see them at your at the club or at a clinic somewhere?
Yeah, so they have a clinic in Amy Park. So I usually cover the matches. So I cover all the home games that are in Melbourne, and then match day plus 2 days. If any players have any issues and they need to see me, then I'll run an injury clinic out of Amy Park. So sometimes some players don't need to come in, but some, if I need to assess them and organise scans and things, then I'll see them in Amy Park and organise scans. And then we also have a weekly team meeting between the physio, the coach, there's a head of performance, and kind of catch up on all the chronic injury management of the players. And a lot of stuff that I do is all the pre-season assessments. So all the players need up-to-date ultrasounds of the heart and ECGs, because they're very big on ensuring that there's no cardiac abnormalities before people start playing football, because there's a higher incidence of cardiac arrests in football than other sports. And also concussion assessments is another big one.
Mm-hmm. Geez, so you get access to your own MRI. That'd be handy.
Yeah, I still have to obviously book in, but it is good. When I had this one, I got a private MRI because I just wanted to get it straight away. But the guy who's my sports doctor is the doctor for the men's. So I work for Melbourne Victory soccer team for the women's team, and he covers the men's team, and he's pretty good about helping me out with if I need a referral for something, he can help me out. And my partner's also a surgical doctor, so he can also write me a referral and things like that. So it helps being able to get stuff like that done a bit quicker.
Yeah. All right. Wow. We should, if you're injured and we're not getting a lot of running, let's talk about what people have shoved up their ass each week. Because that is good content.
Well, let's hope I don't get injured anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, a week. We're going to have to give you another challenge. Hopefully you do it you haven't done the wrap and you haven't ridden up Falls Creek. What have we got, Reece? Chin up challenge?
I don't know, mate. Aren't you the former king of Ballarat? Don't you, when you know what there is to do out there?
You could swim across the lake. down the rowing. What do you call them? Lanes.
Yeah,
be a good time of year for that. Actually, the water would be pretty warm.
I didn't bring my wetsuit with. I didn't actually bring any swimming stuff.
I need a wetsuit.
I don't have any goggles or anything.
Don't need goggles.
Is there a sports? Does Ballarat have a sports store?
Yes.
A sports store?
Yeah.
Like a
sports
Rebel
store,
Sport to buy some,
where you can go buy some goggles and some swimmers.
I can do it. Yeah. I'm coming back. I have to go back for a soccer game on Friday, and then I'm coming back. So I could do it next week.
All right. Next week's good. Let's do this then. Let's get you on the chin up program.
The chin up program.
The challenge this week. How many chin ups can you do? And when I say chin ups, I don't mean like the CrossFit chin ups. I mean like, can you do a chin up like a full?
No, zero.
The answer. Well, how about the challenge is 1? That's it, and you'll be able to get it by the end of the week because it's more a technique thing than a strength thing.
Am I allowed to jump like off the ground?
Absolutely not.
No. There's like, you go to the gym, do they have like an assisted chin up machine that you can train on?
I'm not sure about, because I'm going to sign up to a new one here, so I'll find out. But yeah, I'll look into it. All
right, I'll give you the bicep. Like, it's easier to do a bicep one. I'll pay that. That's your little out. We're going to need video footage of one chin up by the podcast.
Come on, it's got to be at least 2. It's got to be at least 2.
She can't do one.
Double.
So
you're increasing the challenge, but you're doubling it.
Yeah, 1, but you have to. It has to be from out to up. It can't include a jump.
All
right, done. I'll talk about my training now because I know you guys are just hanging on your hats to hear that.
Give us the magic, mate. This is the.
But there wasn't a lot of magic this week. There wasn't a lot of magic. I was tired this week. I was real tired. I hit the middle of marathon training and everything was a bit of a struggle. So Monday I did 2 8K runs. That's how I do it. I recover better doing it like that. Tuesday I ran it.
Pram running there? No prams?
No pram. The pram's gone. Pram is gone. That's not going to get me where I need to be. So I did an hour on the Tuesday morning and I took my phone because I knew that I had a phone call. Kane Corn's on his SEN show. I think it's called The Morning Show or something. But he called up and talked about Pat Tiernan for a little bit. So it was good. He likes to have like a little segment of athletics, which is really cool, I reckon. Yeah. So it was good that he's showing love there, and we talked about that. We talked a little bit about Osaka and the women's marathon team. So yeah, on the air, I only had one message from a bloke I hadn't spoken to. Well, a guy I hadn't seen since high school. He sent me a message. That was pretty fun. But I'm not sure anyone listens to the radio anymore.
What your mate from high school do? He's not in jail, is he?
He's an old school footy boy, so that's why he's listening to Kane Corns on the radio.
Yeah,
I jogged that evening, got that in before dinner somehow, and then Wednesday morning had a session at the track. The weather was fucked for this session. It was proper wet. Like, it doesn't say here how wet, but it was probably like 20 to 30 mil we got that day, and it like torrential rain. I woke up, it was actually fine, and then on the way in just started pelting down. And then you rock up to the track car park and everyone's just sitting in their cars while it's torrential rain, and you're like, who's getting out to start this warm-up?
Yeah.
Not fun. It got pretty cold actually because we were so wet and we were jogging slow for the warm-up. But once we got back, it was kind of a big session. Did 15 800s with the goal to be a little quicker than we ran the 1K reps, where we ran, I think we did 10 of them. We did 10 1K reps about a month ago. And so we went 15 800s. We took 2 minutes rest in between. The idea was to run these a little bit quicker than I would have done in the past. So I gave myself a little bit more rest. The group, which is, call it Ali's group, because there's 2 guys that are training to sort of run with her, and she's training for Osaka too. They were supposed to go at 74s, so run 228s, and I was going to try to run it anywhere from 220s to 224s. And the first, lane one had puddles in it that were like 10 mil deep, so half your shoe was going underwater. It was disgusting, really. All the track's dirty, so like your back's covered in dirt, your shorts are sloppy and slappy, and I didn't enjoy it. Put it this way, I didn't enjoy it, but it was one of them ones that you get done. Paces weren't bad. And what happened was I gave the group in front about 3 or 4 seconds, and so I chased them down each rep. And then I did the first 7 solo, and then I had a friend, Matt, he jumped in and covered me for the last 7, and he would sort of do a 400 or a 600. So he would get me up to the group, and then I would have the group to run around and with, and it just makes it so much easier. And like just having people around you in the same session, knowing that everyone's feeling the same as you, it just takes the edge off. Like it just makes it so much more doable. So paces were first one was 225. That was a full-on sprint, and then it all got a bit easier. 221.
It's amazing how that always happens, isn't it? The first one in those sort of sessions, you can never judge your session by the first rep.
Nah. Yeah, it is when you
get old. Do you reckon that gets worse? Yeah, I was going to say, is it old?
100% is old. 100%. Like, I need to do I think what I'm going to do before the marathon is I'm going to go and do like a 3 or 5K sort of semi-tempo, just like out the front of the
not a bad idea.
Front of the start line, and just so when the gun goes. The problem with these races, Osaka, like they put the elite field just before the main field. Probably there's like a flag up or like a rope up, and they get you there so early. They're so organized that you have to be there early. So you might do that, and then you'll just stand for 15 minutes, and it's pretty cold, and there's nowhere really to run once they put the rope up. So it's not ideal, but we'll try to work something out. Felt good finishing that workout. Like, how's this though? Tell me your thoughts on this. One guy, he runs with the group ahead, so he's running 228s to 230s the whole time. Then I, like, second last rep to go, I catch the group in front, and all of a sudden he tries to outsprint me down the front straight.
Yeah, well played.
Then the last rep decides to hang back a little, so he sits off the back group and goes, I'll catch them, but he still goes in front of me a little bit, so he doesn't run with me at all. And then I pass him, and then he wants to try to hang on, and I'm like, hold on, I've already given you 2 seconds here. Plus, you've just run 14 reps at fucking 230 pace, and now you want to have a crack at the title?
Yeah.
Don't know about that.
Maybe you should host like a track etiquette or group session etiquette session at your running store, mate.
Oh, mate, I educated him after that. Don't worry.
Oh, the poor
I
bugger.
gave him a lesson.
He probably quit running and went and bought some swimming goggles.
I gave him a little in-person lesson on track etiquette and session etiquette, and his coach was there too. I give him a little spray as well. So you control your boy. It's different.
Yeah, okay. So you're not a fan of like last rep heroes, I should say?
I'm fine with that if the person's done the session with you. If someone's jumping in and out and then they want a last rep hero, if they haven't done the whole session, that ain't on.
Yeah.
If someone's running the slow group and then come to the fast group for 1 rep at the end, that ain't on either.
Yeah.
That's some real big hero type behavior.
So what's this group set up? If you've got athletes from different coaches and you're all come together, have you?
Yeah, we're all sort of pretty much.
Everyone now.
Not all run strong. There are a couple of. There's one that runs with. They've got a coach from Run to PB. There's another guy who's got a coach from a local coach. And then there's some that don't have coaches, and then they just show up and have a run. But mainly run strong. And it's a good setup because everyone's training for Osaka and we've sort of worked everyone around. So Matt, who's coming back, who I coach, I selfishly give him sessions where I'm like, you're just coming to the track and going to help me out for 12 laps. And he does well. Some athletes, you'll find that they actually do better when you give them a task like that where it helps someone else. If that's the kind of way they're wired, then they'll perform better when it's in the interests of somebody else rather than their own interests.
Did he do team sports when he was young?
Yeah, he's cricket. I think he played cricket for Australia when he was a junior.
Oh, well, there you go. He doesn't want to let the team down. It's been drilled into him since he's a kid.
Big team, man. Very different type characters than the runners that grow up through junior running. The real, or like you, cycling, real oddballs. Like in their own head from a young age.
Mate.
Too much time spent by themselves.
Mate, I was team sports till I was 18. I was on the hockey field.
Oh, yeah. 18's about the cutoff. What about you, Rachel?
I did like a little bit of netball when I was really young, but otherwise, swimming and then, that's pretty much it. Swimming
that's
and
two red flags. Two red flags. Swimming is a whole nightmare. I mean, you studied psychology. You would know. All right.
I just have a quick comment about your session.
Do you?
So so it's actually got nothing to do with the actual session itself. But to all the British, Dutch, Scandinavian, Northern European listeners to this that have just listened to you complain about doing one session in the rain for this entire marathon block, mate, I reckon they should message you and tell you to harden the F up.
Well, my retort to that is all I see right now is people on treadmills in Europe. So, they're inside. I see blokes in Norway running around indoor tracks. You got Ingebrigtsens on treadies. They all go to Spain and Portugal and France, all these really nice spots. I don't know about this.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
it's all
seeing anyone
hyped up,
hard
isn't it?
running up there.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. Yeah,
I lived in
They're
Oslo.
actually soft. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I lived in Oslo for 6 months. I did part of my medical degree there. And I have to say it's easier to run in dry, minus 15 degrees there, than it is to run in like wet, miserable 1 to 2 degrees in the UK.
Oh, yeah. UK looks terrible, actually. That looks like the worst spot. Yeah.
I reckon for 2 years, every Tuesday night, we'd start our sessions at 7 p.m. And during the winter, it'd just be drizzle rain every Tuesday night in the dark from 7 till 9 p.m. in the drizzle rain, just getting it done. Wet shoes, wet socks, wet everything.
Yeah, it toughens you up. I'll pay that for sure.
But
especially
you're right. But you're right. There's nothing nice when it's torrential rain like what you've got, where you got 10 mil of puddles and stuff like that. It's just disgusting.
Lane 1 was a full puddle nearly the whole way.
And when your shoes start to feel dense from water, that is the worst. And they squelch or whatever, that is the worst.
So what happened was I was wearing Alpha Fly 3, and I have the 11.5 and I have the 12, and I put the 11.5 on thinking it's the track. I can actually run on the track with a tighter shoe better. It's not like I'm out there for 30K. And because it got so wet, my foot started sliding a lot. And it was slightly short, and my big toe got absolutely hammered, and I couldn't put weight on it for 2 days afterwards. It was just so sore. There's so much pressure under the nail. Like it needed to be released, but the nail is about 3 generations of nail, so it's really thick. So there's no way I was getting a pin through that.
Well, you know what the old school footy boys do? They crack a bottle of beer, mate, get a sharp piece of glass and warm it up and bang, straight through your nail.
Yeah, well, I've done that before. I've heated up needles and gone in. But like one time I went too far. And I've never done it again. That stopped me from ever doing that.
This is like a doctor's worst nightmare.
What is the way to do it properly, Rachel?
I've done that in ED before, the heating a needle.
Oh, really?
To a hole in it, yeah.
They teach you that
and if
in medical school?
Huh?
They teach you that in the classroom?
No, I think I got taught that in ED. Because it depends if the actual base of the nail, like the nail bed, is injured, then that would need to be like repaired with like stitching. But if it's just a hematoma or a blister under the nail, then yeah, you just pop a hole through it to let it drain.
Yeah. Huh. I once got one drilled out at the podiatrist. Like they get a drill, and he drilled in. God, the relief you get. The relief, it's like very nice feeling. Yeah. All right, I'll move on. That's enough toe talk. So jogging, more jogging, a bit more jogging. And then we did a workout. So we got to Sunday, around 30. So actually Friday. Last time I went to Japan, I had to have 3 boosters, or I had to show results of a negative COVID test at the border. So this time round, and I didn't have the 3 shots, I only had 2. So it was a real nightmare trying to time the test to be like valid when I got to the border and all this shit. So I thought I'll just get the 3rd jab and I'll be fine to get in. So I got that on Friday, and Saturday I got nailed with like fever, fatigue. I was pretty sick. It really knocked me around. I had headaches, and my arm, I couldn't lift my arm up like past 45 degrees, and it's still got a massive swollen section. I hadn't had that with any of the vaccines since like before, but this one, it put me on my back. So I was a bit unsure about Sunday morning. I woke up feeling fine, just a bit flat. The workout, 32K steady. It was 32 to 34, depending on how I was feeling. And about 200 meters into this, I knew it was going to be 32, if that. So I'd done 28 at 321s on this same sort of route a few weeks ago. So I thought, I'll get 30, 32, 34. This will be pretty easy. But it wasn't easy. I started off, I had Bree on the bike with me. So she had a little speaker. We got a bit of music going. She was giving me drinks. I actually had I'm moving away from the drink mix. I'm just going to do gels on the day, I think, because I'm struggling with like gagging on the syrup mixes that I get. So I'm thinking the best way is to take a gel and a water bottle at each 5K. And I'm going to alternate gels. But this one, I tried the Precision 90 gel, which is like the sachet gel. So it's got 3 gels in one sachet. So you don't have to open a gel every time. You just have to take the lid off and suck it, and then you can put the lid back on and you're done. It's pretty practical. The only problem is carrying it. Ideal for a bike, but running's a bit trickier. And then I did chuck the caffeine gel in there, and I'm going to alternate with some pure gels as well, because just to break it up a little bit. But one thing I had was the Precision chews. And I've had these little chews. They're like little tubes, 30 grams of carb for one packet. They were some of the best tasting nutrition product I've ever had.
Yeah.
Have you had them before?
I've had them.
Can you swallow them while you're running?
No, I didn't take them running. So I had them beforehand, and I had one after. It's like a Turkish delight. It is delicious. I've had all the others. I've had the pure ones. I've had the SIS ones. I've had the Cliff shot blocks or whatever they're called. Yeah. And they're all sickly. This one, I was like, oh, my God, what am I eating?
And
that's what I like.
Is it one chew, 30 grams of carbs?
Yeah, there's like one chew that are together. So it's like 2 chews in one packet.
Yeah.
Right.
If you can chew them while you're running, that would be ideal. But I'm not sure whether I could do that. I'm not a good chewer.
No. You swallow better,
Yeah. Anyway, the workout is went uphill for a bit. I had Sammy Williams. He was doing a threshold next to me, annoying me with his surging and knowing that he only had 25 minutes pushing the pace. That was a lot of fun. He was doing 25 minutes and I had 2 hours. So he's like got no issues running a fast K. just sending me over the limit early. So I got 3. I'm not going to read the splits out, but started relatively slow, then went downhill. And I just I just felt shit the whole way, like pretty much the whole way. I was having no trouble last time doing this, running 3:20s and thinking I had the brakes on, whereas I was running 3:25s, and that was feeling pretty quick for me on a K. I got to the 24K mark, and I'd kind of talked myself out of stopping a bunch of times because of how bad I felt. And then we ran past the car at 24K, and I thought, just get to 30, and you'll feel better. And then I started to improve a little bit, and I was running out and back, and I kind of tricked myself because I just kept running out, and I knew if I had to keep running out, then I would have to do the full distance. And so I just did that. And in the end, I ran downhill to finish, and I was able to finish a little bit quicker. So it was 3:25 average, 32K. Didn't feel great. So we'll just put that one into the books of history of training, and I'm sure it will increase my mental fitness for the day. But yeah, it didn't feel too good.
But for what you're trying to achieve out of a session like this, right, it's not race pace. So you've gone into it, you've had the COVID vaccine, you've still got side effects from that. You're doing at the end of a decent week of training, like you're under fatigue, like you're probably still physiologically getting out of that exactly what you want. Like, does 3:21s from last time compared to 3:20, does it really matter?
It doesn't matter. Like, you're right.
Other than for your head being like, oh shit, I should have progressed by now. Like, it doesn't matter.
One of the I think the biggest myths in marathon training is that you get you can do longer, harder, faster stuff as the block goes, but I don't think you can. I think the first 2 weeks of marathon training are easy because you've spent all this time running fast beforehand. You're doing VO2 max sessions, heaps of threshold. You might be doing track races. Then all of a sudden you're running slow. And you're not that tired because your mileage hasn't built. Your long runs have only been a bit shorter and easier. And it's like, this is easy. I'm fucking smashing this. And you're also at a point where you get thinking, how fit am I? Maybe I could run this session a bit quicker and show myself I'm fitter. Maybe I'll make this one look good. And then all of a sudden you've run 3:21s for 28K and you step off the road and think, I'm flying. And then a month later, you're like tired, you're beat up, you've got a few little niggles. And that 4 more K slower feels 3 times as hard as what it did a month ago. And I reckon I forgot that. I forgot what marathon training was like.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably a blessing. And it's probably a blessing that you suffered early on because you know that you still just got through it, used your strength. You're just going to get really good gains from it. It's not like you've gone out really, really hard and actually blown up in a session or anything like that. Like, I reckon you'll be surprised the bang for buck you got from that one.
I had to go back and look at other build-ups and see if I'd had this type of thing happen in the past. And I did actually have this happen. I did a workout in Ballarat and it was the same session. I think it was only 30K though. And I blew up in it. And like both Collis and we both blew up in this session. And I finished and thought, this isn't going well. And then 2 weeks later came back and had a really good one. Same session, but a little bit longer and a lot faster. And I thought, okay, like don't stress it. And I'm too old to stress those things now. Like,
exactly right.
It's just move on. And you know what else was good? I knew Ali was doing the same session in Adelaide, basically by herself. And there was Will. He was out on the road at the same time as I was, just behind me at 10 seconds a K slower. And I thought, fuck, if you pull out at 24K and they go and do 34K, you are not going to hear the end of this.
Did any of them do 34K? I bet you Ellie did.
They both
did.
Yeah, of course. And now I'm thinking, I could have easily done 2 more K, you pussy. But I couldn't at the time.
After 300 meters, you said you couldn't.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to put in a little a sponsor's note here. Complementing the Wave Rebellion Pro 2 is the Wave Rebellion Flash 2, combining Mizuno's performance foam with smooth speed assist technology and a nylon plate. Sitting in that do-it-all category, the Flash suits up-tempo running, tempo sessions, and faster long runs. I reckon we chatted. We already did that earlier on.
Geez, we nailed that, didn't we? I didn't even know that was coming.
That was good. I actually agree with that. I'm going to take that shoe out this week sometime and have a jog in it.
Yeah.
Now, got some questions.
I've got a question for you before we go anywhere. Oh. What's this bullshit of having beat Reece at Lake Biwa on the bottom of your screen?
It gives me a title option. And I thought, this is the title people care about. You don't think so?
No, I can't say anything, mate. I think we've gone head-to-head once and you got me, so... Yeah.
Really? I reckon you've smashed me about 50 times at cross-country, but I'm glad you don't remember that.
I totally forgot about that, yeah.
I'm glad you don't remember.
Nah, but I don't want you then. I want you at the peak of your powers, mate.
Yeah, no, and the marathon. Brady, he beats me every single week. He's beaten me like 50 times, and he's never beaten me in a marathon. And he's real worried.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon? Because Brady's doing it, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, mate? You boys, do you reckon you'd be right on each other?
Yeah, I do. Because he's about 50 times fitter than I am. But he doesn't know how to run a marathon. He knows how to run 2:20 really well, but he's a 2:16 guy that hasn't run it yet. If he gets it right, he runs 2:16. But I don't know. The runs aren't really on the board.
So what happens if you hit the 30K mark? The packs have dispersed. It's just you and Brady together, and you're on for a decent time. Do you boys help each other, or is it like, nah?
No, I'm in his head.
Not happening.
I'm trashing
you're in his head.
I'm starting to chat to him. I'm like, how you feeling? How you feeling, big fella? Remember this at Berlin, 2017? When I put 2 minutes into him.
Oh, that poor bugger.
I gave him my drink that day as well, and he still blew up. I want to ask a question now that you've got that question out of the way. Rachel, the lever, do you rate it? We've got a listener question. Do you rate the lever?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, like your gait changes slightly when you're using it because you're kind of suspended from your hips, and where the cables come, you have to like stretch your arms out to miss arm swing in front of the cables. But I think, I don't know if you can afford it. Like my friend, I'm pretty sure she got sent it for free by the company, I think. So like as a gift. So it's like a great resource for her to have. And it's like, I'm very grateful that she's lent it to me. It's certainly like a more economical option than the Alter G, but obviously you have to invest in that purchase yourself. But definitely, like because I've switched from running with the shorts on and with the cable on, and then I've tried just a few minutes afterwards, like, because it feels like you're not really offloading that much weight until you actually offload the weight and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It feels, I've done an Alter G run a couple of times and that like going from whatever 80% to full load, you feel like, so heavy and it's wild. Yeah, I ended up buying one of those what are they called? Zero runners they were, and they were like an elliptical, but they had more of a running motion. As a cross training tool, and I was thinking that maybe the lever would be a good thing to invest in.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to know, like, to invest in when you're running well. Like, should you invest in something like that? Yeah. See if you can get one for free from the company.
Oh, I don't think so. Question for both of you: what's the kit looking like for Osaka? Do you guys have a Mizuno kit lined up? Are you in the Kakazomis?
No, it's the Pro 2. I've only seen pictures of it. It's the Pro 2, but it's in like I don't know if we can talk about. It's a different colorway to the current commercial colorway.
Oh, what color you got?
And a kit. a kit that matches.
Oh, you got a matching kit.
Well, yeah. Do you not remember they showed us the pictures of this when we met for that coffee in Richmond? Remember Tom showed us like the screenshot of like what the kit looked like.
Yeah,
so
I reckon you could announce it. There's pictures all over the internet, Moose, of the colour.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is it white?
No.
No.
It's an Osaka colorway, like it's specific to the Osaka Marathon. It's like their limited release shoe that is associated with the race itself. I imagine they'll have some at like the expo and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, do you know? And I'm not sure whether you're aware, but Mizuno have a pair of half tights that improve your run economy by 2.4%.
No,
I'm not aware of that.
That's not a joke. That is no
joke. Do they
joke.
really?
I went there last year on this trip, right? Went to the R&D building, the Innovation Center, and they did a presentation on it. They're like, we tested the college runners using the same protocol as how we test shoes for economy, and they said these shorts gave a 2.4% improvement in compared to normal shorts. And
have they come out?
I'm like, they've come out over there in small batches, but they're very hard to get. They're not cheap. They're like $180. I don't know about women's. I think they're unisex, actually. Okay. They are unisex because I had trouble finding my right size at the expo.
You've got a pair?
I got a pair, yeah. I bought them.
They're good?
Bought them at the expo. I love them. But no one, like over here, we haven't had them. So imagine if you could market a pair of shorts at 2.4% running economy improvement.
What's the science behind the way that they improve the economy? How?
Well, the lady who ran the study, I did hit her up about this a bit because I was pretty skeptical, and she said she thinks it's to do with where the panels are and how they stabilize the muscles because they're quite high. They come up near your belly button. They provide a real strong sort of support through like your waist. So like your glutes, your stabilizers, hammies, and they come down near your knees too. So they're pretty long tights, quads. And I think the idea is that they prevent muscle fatigue or something along these lines. But she was adamant. She's like, we did the studies, same protocol as anything. There was like I'm going to send you guys a link after this to the actual, like Mizuno have a marketing, like they did a new press release around it and stuff.
And is there like a paper, like a scientific paper about like how they controlled for other variables? Like how was I'm interested to know how the testing was done. And
they're claiming it in their marketing. So you would think there would have to be something behind it or else they get in trouble. I'll send it to you later because I sent it to the on fella. And when he was there, he went and got a pair. He couldn't believe it.
He's really? How good they were?
Well, no, he couldn't believe that what I was telling him. Like, you guys aren't believing what I'm telling you. He's like, you're bullshitting me. I don't know if he's worn them or not, but he definitely went and got a pair himself.
He's cutting them up and trying to make another version.
Yeah.
Is there a certain speed you have to run to get the optimal 2.4%? Like, it could be 40 Ks an hour.
I was thinking
it could literally be Usain Bolt.
2.4% is like a super shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't be afraid to go to the expo and invest the day before. I'm going to get another pair.
I might put 2 pairs on.
That's good from you. All right. So we don't really have any news this week, unfortunately, crew. Like, not really any races this time of year, is there? Don't need to cover the Vic Milers.
Actually, I did hear a rumor this afternoon on my run that so what happens when you put the Vic Milers on, you have to sit through O race all the way to A race. So you're sitting down for a good 8 hours. And I heard that someone pulls out the form guide, gets his notepad out, is looking out for talent scouting. One Julian Spence sits there for 8 hours, sipping on a cup of tea, doing his scouting report. Is this true, mate?
I watch a lot of Vic Milers. I watch when the sun's out and it's midday, and you've got 6-year-old boys running against 80-year-old ladies.
Yeah.
And I watch what happens. And I don't know why, but I'm intrigued by it. And do you know what the biggest shock was? I was watching H grade the other night, and on the start list, one name, Jeff Risley, unattached. And I'm like,
no,
there's got to be another Jeff Risley. I'm like, no one's watching this. This is at like 4:00 in the afternoon. There's no one at the track.
You got to watch the Jeff Risley run.
Jeff Risley, I'm seeing him on the start line, and he's literally against kids. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And the race goes off, and he starts dead last. And he's about 400 meters in. He's about 3 meters off the back of the pack. And there's probably 18 people in this race. I'm thinking, what is happening? Like, what am I watching? And then he slowly creeps around, and I'm like, on the treadie watching this at the time, I'm thinking, getting excited. I'm like, go, Jeff. Beat that kid. You've been to the Olympics and you've run 3:31. Take down that fucking 11-year-old. And he didn't win, but he comes storming home, and he was gassed on the finish. He ran 4:12 or something, and totally gassed.
That's unbelievable.
Bizarre scenes.
What a good man. That's good on him to get out there and have a crack.
Love 40 seconds off his best in a 1,500 meter. And he's
retirement hasn't been pretty.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. He looked pretty good. As he come charging home.
Maybe he's just out there. Yeah. I don't know.
I thought he was going to pace his friend or something, but 3 meters off the back at 400.
So this is why you watch it, because you're hoping for this pot of gold that just comes out where you get this.
That made it all worthwhile. That did. All worthwhile.
Very good.
All right, you guys back at work this week. Apologies, I've got the week off, so I'm going to be recovering and prioritizing training. Rachel's got to do a chin-up. Geez, that's pretty easy challenge for you.
That is a very easy challenge.
Reece,
you got to start static hold. Like, you cannot have any momentum before you begin. You got to be hanging there statically and then lift. Okay. I'm not giving her this easy. She's got a sore shin. She's going to be able to do a chin-up.
Well, by the end of this series, she'll be doing 10. Yeah, maybe that's in Osaka. You've got 5 weeks to do 10. That can be the thing. Maybe that can be your party trick after, like, at drinks afterwards.
Yeah, maybe.
Find a street sign.
Throw a sake barrel.
Get some reps. Reece, what are you doing this week? Big workouts?
Yeah, I'm back at work. So it's a long weekend. I'm heading up to Bright for this long weekend. So I'll do a Wednesday session, and then the Mengo boys, we're going to get together on Friday morning instead of Saturday this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I'm heading off, so I'll get a session done Friday morning, then drive up to Bright. Beautiful spot up there.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, crew. Well, we will see you all next week. All the best.
Right. Cheers. Have a good one.
See ya. The Inside Running Podcast Road to Osaka series is powered by Mizuno, committed to making marathoners faster for now and the future.